Would you like the cheat code for the passage? The cheat code is right here in verse 10. Paul lists the symptoms that the messenger of Satan was causing him: insults, distress, persecutions, and difficulties. That's what Paul was asking God to give him relief from. If you've been told that God just doesn't want to heal you, you need to stop right there. Nowhere, literally nowhere in scripture does God say, I like you better sick. Many teach that Paul prayed for healing and that God said no, but the scripture doesn't support this idea. Look at the verse where God answers Paul. Do you see him saying no? God says, my grace is sufficient for you, for power is perfected in weakness. You can use the word infirmity if you like. I don't see God saying no. I see him answering with the words power and grace. Remember, this messenger from Satan, this demon, was sent to Paul to keep him humble. It says right there in verse 7. Why did Paul need humility? Well, remember, the whole context is boasting. Paul received an amazing revelation after being taken to the third heaven, and God allowed this demonic oppression to bring insults, persecution, and distress to keep Paul humble. So, if you're going to use this passage as proof that God is choosing not to heal you, you have to be willing to do what Paul did. One, Paul didn't stop praying until he got an answer from God. I know too many people who pray, and then when they don't hear anything, they assume God said no. And then they use this passage as supporting evidence that God says no to healing. No, be like Paul and pray until you hear from God. Two, Paul acknowledges that the symptoms he was experiencing were demonic in nature. If this passage in Corinthians applies to you, then at least entertain the idea that what you're experiencing could be demonic oppression and that following the steps for deliverance may be what's needed.